Easy breezy. Easy breezy.
Yep.
Easy breezy. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello. Welcome.
Podcast 142.
42. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say hi to everyone. How are y'all doing?
Welcome. Yeah, Haikyuu's over now.
Woke up from a nap, AK Games? For sure. Summer naps are the best.
Oh.
Hey, Miguel. I still am in a bit of a shock as well about Haikyuu ending. I think that one of the things that's been kind of cool is how wholesome the Haikyuu fandom is.
Mm-hmm.
And that as you get more and more invested into the characters, rather than them revealing more and more of their crazy, you know how most fandoms are, where it's like the deeper you get into it, the more you realize it's actually like
kind of
just
terrifying,
barely holding together their semblance of sanity. And as you get more and more in depth into it, you can see some of the things where it's like, oh, it's a little bit But with Haikyuu, it's more just the gushing kind of crazy, where it's like,
sure.
Like, what did you think about the way that such and such a character was really able to bring out this emotion from such and such in this episode here? I was like, yeah, that's right, that did happen. Oh my god, that's really wholesome and sweet.
It's almost like it's the thing that we wish all fandoms were, and a lot of fandoms
to come pretty
sort
close.
of and will sometimes say that they are. They'll sort of self-proclaim that, but it's oftentimes, unfortunately, an excuse to cover up for the bad side of the fandom.
Yeah, I think that anime in general has such a wide variety of things as well that you're almost guaranteed to have some wholesome fandoms that are just like surprising, or it's more like, oh, of course they are. And then other ones where you're like, oh, of course that fandom isn't really doing so hot necessarily.
I knew that would be full of all kinds of degeneracy and madness.
I'm a Jew with the Titan folk and Berserkle jerk depth level knowledge. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Haikyuu is my never-ending pile of animes to watch. Miguel.
You need to pull it out of there. Fish it out and watch it. It's awesome. It's wonderful. There's
a reason why we like constantly talk about it. It's a very special anime. And you don't have to be a sports fan to really get a good chunk out of it. You will get more out of it if you're a sports person.
But if you're also just really passionate about something, that helps too.
Yeah, if you have anything that is kind of your devoted, specific thing that you dedicate a lot of energy to and passion, there's going to be something that you'll get out of it that you wouldn't have gotten out of it if you didn't have it. We haven't seen the slash level ludes on AO3 if you want to ruin your life. Oh my god. No, I'm good.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Just finished watching the VOD of Caleb's Dark Souls stream. I'm still not over how he defeated the Taurus demon.
Yeah, he told
but
me
did
about
I
that
actually defeat it? Or did I just weather the mental arduous journey to get to the point where the demon just gave up on life, you know?
That is also a legitimate strategy.
I guess we'll never know, right?
Yeah. But seriously, like, as far as specific things that, like, I know for me that I love about anime,
right?
There are too many. Like, I wrote down a lot of them.
Yeah. So
and it's not enough. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Like, we had this podcast as kind of like hey, like, we've talked a lot of specific things about specific anime. What if instead of switching to different types of specific things to talk about, we talked about the stories and memories and moments that we kind of look back on so fondly that we are like wanting to celebrate. And I feel like the community in general, just the anime community in general, is, as far as an online community, is quite welcoming for the most part. So the cool thing is that, like, when you see other people in a group celebrating the things about the past experience within the group, I think it's one of the things that attracts a lot of people to kind of go, oh, why are they celebrating over there? It's kind of like when there's a block party and you are like, 5 blocks away, and their music is just barely able to come through, and you're like, I was gonna be a shut-in for, today, just like every other day, but no, that music sounds pretty interesting. I don't know what that's all about.
You and me are very different people.
Right.
I see.
No, but I think
That
that if the music, the thing that they're celebrating, is something that hits a specific chord, yes, music puns, within you, you'll go, oh, okay, maybe so. But I think this also works within the anime community. So when you celebrate Domestic Girlfriend, for instance, even though it's trash, you're very much celebrating the fact that you are creating stories and memories from the story filled with all the trash.
Caleb, so I don't know if you realize this, but nowhere on my
Nothing
list
on here is Domestic Girlfriend.
was Domestic Girlfriend. But now that you mention it, yeah. Like,
oh my god. But I think that's the point, guys, right? I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, as anime has become more mainstream, the initial gatekeeping has toned down, I think. It's a lot more accessible to everyone now. I think that's a very good point. Gatekeeping is something that shows that the community itself is actually, just has room for growth.
Yes.
It means that there's a thing where lots of people are coming in and they're getting gatekept. Otherwise, there wouldn't be gatekeeping, which means that the community is growing. Overall, because gatekeeping does not have a 100% success rate. I'll just let you know. If you're thinking about taking up a career in gatekeeping, it doesn't work out eventually.
And oftentimes, from what I've seen, gatekeeping is usually in response to perceived reverse gatekeeping, where it's the ridicule for being in that niche or whatever. So then it's like, well, fine, you stay over there, and we'll be on this side, and
Yes.
We'll protect this precious thing that just we have, and no, you can't have it.
Right. And then it eventually goes to the thing of where when something gets really popular, they hate the popular thing because they're still trying to find their subsection of community, because they're like, there's too many people coming to my block party now. And I have to actually prepare food for all these people.
Right.
Damn it.
It's the fantasy nerds that hate Harry Potter because they're like,
yeah,
I got beat up in high school for this. Why are you getting to enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be looking for some stories from you guys as well, from things that, as your anime journey has, gone on, what are some of the things that you look back on with fondness that don't necessarily have anything to do with a specific anime, but could just be a moment where you saw a specific image, or you heard a specific voice actor's lines delivered in a certain way, and you're just like, oh, that stayed with me now all this time.
Oh man, after talking about Domestic Girlfriend and then specific images, but anyways, but you mentioned the whole idea of the block party music and things like that. Segue, music and anime is really damn good.
For sure.
Most of the music that I just listen to nowadays is from anime. There's enough of it where it's even if there's just the 1 or 2 songs that totally blow me away from a show.
Right.
By now, it's cool. I've got this massive library of music to listen to, and I don't really need to think about anything else. And there's so much of it, and it's so good that I will forget about a lot of my favorite things within the sphere of anime and music, and then I'll get to rediscover it.
That's true.
One of my favorite things with this was the Your Lie in April OP. That OP I absolutely love. The first one specifically. All the music in Your Lie in April is great, but that part where it goes to the drop, and then it's the da 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 da, I could not help myself whenever I heard that, but I would be like, yes, I want to go jump on a hang glider or something. This feels awesome. Time to synced up with the visuals and everything. And I would then, completely forget about it a lot of the time. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. The Your Lie in April OP. Man.
Yeah.
It's
really good.
And people worked on this stuff. People, even if, say, for, some of the music, it might not be specifically made for the anime. In the case of, OPs and stuff, maybe. I don't know how that works all the time. But it's still something where people came together and made this stuff, right?
Yeah.
There was someone for that Your Lie in April ED, that second one, where they were like, you know what? It should look exactly like this. This will be fantastic. It'll be amazing. It'll totally fit the song, and it'll be this great transition and foreshadowing for, what's going to happen.
Okay, so before we get too far into this, I got to give a shout out to one of our VIP patrons. Recently joining us, we have the Awesome Boss. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank
if you're
you.
here, thank you so much for the support, and hope to see you on more of our Discord stuff.
Yeah.
And appreciate it. So music is like one of those ones where I think back on like very specific kind of early anime where we all had that point where we skipped the OP in our anime period of time. Now, I mean, like, you didn't skip it, like, you didn't, like, never watch it, but it was the thing of where, you watched it maybe once, and then if you weren't into it even, like, halfway through, you're like, skip, and then get to the episode. But I think in the beginning, for me, anime music was something that I didn't really focus on because I was so enamored by the fact that cartoons could be made for adults, basically,
Right.
where it wasn't just dumbed down to a kid's level or something like that, even though kids shows that I've seen tend to be quite good when I actually do get the time to
Sit down
get
and watch
into
it.
them. But I remember hearing is it Tank from Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah,
the first Cowboy Bebop OP. Because there were a few anime that had reputations that even broke into the mainstream culture where I had heard about them before I had watched anime. Like, that's a very small, specific set of things from there.
And Bebop was
and
one of them?
Bebop, I think, was the only one that I can remember to this day that I found out before I had watched Bleach. The thing was, is it still took me, like, I think maybe, like, 10 anime or so before... Oh, mods being asked? Okay, well, never mind. We'll just ignore chat for a little bit.
Yep.
You just tag some of them in Discord if people are being dicks or what have you. But it's okay. We have plenty to talk about, so we don't have to look at chat. Tank was one of those anime specifically where... one of those OPs specifically where I got the kind of the vibe from it and had this feeling of, okay, this feels like something that breaches the Japanese cultural divide and hit my Western American roots, and I was just like, ooh, wait a minute. Oh, anime doesn't have to be necessarily singing the songs in Japanese, for instance. It doesn't necessarily have to have a specific style that has, characters flying through the sky and dropping into, fantastical environments or something like that.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit grittier. It can have all that extra stuff to it. So I remember when I watched the Tank OP, it was one of those ones where I was like, within 2 seconds of like watching it, as I'm like sitting there, I don't think I had a remote. I think it was watching it online. So I was with my mouse and I was kind of, just kind of slumped to the side like, I'm starting a new anime. Cool. And then I went to watch it and it's like, I think it's time to start this thing really low. Okay,
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Like that whole thing was just like instant pulling me in, just immersion to the utmost degree. And I can honestly say that since then, that's the one that's been the one where the immediate kind of sense of, okay, the first few seconds you get of an anime pulls you in immediately. I think that was the one for me. Yeah. Are there just no mods here? I see someone saying...
No, mods are here now.
Mods are here?
Thank you. Thank you.
Ban Usopp's hammer.
Yep. Lay that hammer down.
Hammer. That's hilarious.
But yeah,
it's okay. We can just get more mods in general because that's something we're apparently gonna need a little bit more of. That's okay. Don't worry.
I think because those moments where like the music hits just right, and combined with the narrative and everything, like usually for me it has something to do with Hiroyuki Sawano. Whether it's well, actually I don't know if Hiroyuki Sawano, I think he did Call of Silence, I'm pretty sure, but like Ymir's rebirth in season 2 of Attack on Titan, and it's syncing up perfectly with the "You will know you're reborn tonight." It was just like, oh my god, what is it that I'm watching here, right? Or even for times when I hadn't even seen the anime in question. I love Blumenkranz, right? From Kill la Kill. It's amazing. But even Crone, right? Like, that is, like, my favorite song, like, period, pretty much.
Just
And,
songs.
Yeah. I haven't even seen the anime. I've never seen Guilty Crown, right? Like, and yet it was able to have that much of an effect on me just by itself. Like, and then when it hits perfectly with like Leo Fotia's theme, like the Kakuse by Superfly in Premiere, when like he's all frozen and then suddenly and he rips out the ice and crushes it, you know, like that is something that whenever I'm trying to get people into anime, right?
Yeah.
I can't. Words don't properly express that kind of feeling because, one, there's also the idea that if it's that much passion, they need to actually be able to buy it, because otherwise they're like, what are you talking about? It's some dumb cartoon, right? And it's like, no, you don't realize what's out there. And
So to ask a question to you all, chat, a couple of you saying things like Yuki Hayashi, the Haikyuu OST, a lot of things and stuff. What are those songs that in anime, when you heard them for the first time, or what have you, what kind of anime stories do you have where the music was the central focus? Gabriel Braga saying, don't know if I got the question. Elfin Lied is cheesy in very early 2000s, but the way the director timed the pacing perfectly makes it special.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
Cool, very cool. Watamote, OP, and ED are just a vibe.
Okay.
Awesome. Haikyuu OST, yep. When I try to get people into anime, I have them listen to the OP. Yeah, I think that is the reason why the OP is primarily made the way it is. It's saying, hey, this is a 90-second trailer for what you're about to watch.
Yep.
Do you find this interesting? If so, watch the remaining 23 minutes or something.
That's how I got you into Black Lagoon.
Yeah, the Black Lagoon OP is incredible. It's basically saying, do you like guns, violence, and just...
English?
Well, no, just like guns and violence.
Yeah,
like, guns, violence, and guns. And it was just like...
and babes.
Well, even then, she's not really in the OP.
Yeah,
it's just her
not
silhouette, really.
Yeah, for the most
So
part.
you don't know that that's actually a character. That could be just an archetype, for all you know.
Sure.
Like when you're first seeing that. Bleach's first OP, Orange Range.
Yeah.
That's nostalgic.
Yep.
Well, the Devilman OST, Crybaby, Attack on Titan's TK1 or TKT, the Beach episode ending song, and Berserk's 1997's Everything are soundtracks that I find the best.
Like, oh man,
it's like the Pro ZD thing of like, what's this? It's like, it's a song called da 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 da
by a Japanese, band.
Well, what is it? What is it from? Like,
Naruto.
Naruto. Yeah.
Like, I know it's not even from, like, it's not technically an anime. Like, Ruby's not actually an anime, right? But goddamn, that show has one of the best soundtracks out there. Like
it's quite good.
For a long time, I would just listen to not even necessarily other anime soundtracks, just like the Ruby soundtrack, because there's so much of it. And like Home,
and it's also like really different in terms of like the variety within, but also from the typical style that you would get in anime in general.
Sure. And also singing along in English is nice.
That's helpful.
That does help. But like I don't think I can listen, like Home and Lost My Pieces, I think are two songs that I don't know if I can listen to them without crying or getting very choked up close to that. Like, and Lost My Pieces, if you don't know what track that is, it's from Toradora. And like, because like, I remember the first time that I actually looked up Lost My Pieces after I watched Toradora. And I'd kind of forgotten about, like, not forgotten about Toradora, but I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff that happened in Toradora, right?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed that show, you know, but it was a thing, and that was that, right?
Right.
And then I just listened to Lost My Pieces, and like 6 or 7 different moments from the show, just from hearing that song, immediately, like when I wasn't really thinking about them or remembering them otherwise, were instantly brought back to my mind in all the emotional context for it in just a 2-minute song. Like,
for sure.
How does that happen? Like,
yeah. If SAO somehow had Howard Shore doing the music, would you watch? What? You're telling me you don't like coffee soda, coffee soda, give me coffee.
Well, hey, I think Yuki Kajira or
I have no idea.
yeah,
I have no idea who does
yeah.
the SAO.
I think it's Yuki Kajira.
Yeah.
She still does amazing work. Like her work on the Garden of Sinners, like good stuff. She also did a race too, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. One Piece's OST is iconic, especially after having listened to it for 900 episodes. So that's something that I'd love to get into a little bit here with this music kind of thing as well. When I talk to people about anime and why they love it specifically, the people that bring up music, there's a couple types of things that they really like to bring up. Is they let me know about that one song that they've listened to 5,000 times, you know. But then they also talk about that one song that it's not that they will listen to it 5,000 times, but it's that they keep coming back to it because it's in some ways like repetitive, but it's that it's always been there for them. So it's not that they've always loved it the same way, but it's been there, the highs of their life, the lows of their life, just the Hunter x Hunter OP. That's a perfect example of that. The Hunter x Hunter OP is the same one through all 148 episodes, and yet the visuals change so you can feel them going on the journey, and yet you know it's the same journey. There might be different characters getting focus at different points in time, but it's all this one grand narrative that you're getting kind of told on there. That's actually a really good point there, too. You can smile again. Yeah, for sure.
Man, do you remember... Okay, so I know you mentioned Tank, right? But do you remember the song that plays, and I think it's Yoko Kanno actually doing the singing during that part, but when Spike is falling from the window in episode 5 of Bebop, you know, and then it goes through like the sort of montage backstory sort of that's all we've really gotten at that point of Spike and Vicious.
Right.
Like, that scene, like... I liked Cowboy Bebop before then. I knew that it was, you know, a really good show before then, but that was the point where it was like, okay, yeah, no, I can tell that I'm really watching something special here.
For sure. Like, actually, the anime that you mentioned on here, but in a different context, someone just brought up here.
Oh, yeah?
And I gotta say, as far as recent anime that have moved me just from the music alone... Made in Abyss has one of the best soundtracks in the last 5 years. Like,
yeah, it's
absolutely near flawless.
Yeah.
And the thing that's funny about it is that it's a Western creator doing
Kevin
the music.
Penkin, yeah.
Yeah, which is rare usually for the really good anime to get like a really awesome Western creator involved in it. But it was also a cool picture of the kind of the globalization of anime. It's becoming more and more of a thing where there are people making things that are, you know, very much, you know, with people that are involved in the anime industry in Japan specifically, but also, you know, digging roots in specific studios in, you know, the US or in, you know, other countries entirely. So Made in Abyss, like, I think you could just listen to some of the first few songs they show in the first episode, especially the song at the end of the first episode.
Yeah, someone mentioned it. It's and I might be pronouncing this wrong, but Hanazev Karadina.
Okay,
yeah, that's the one where as like, you know, the sun comes up and you see the light, you know, the sunlight going down over the abyss and everything. Like,
oh yeah, oh my God,
yeah,
like there's something to be said for a medium that is primarily based around the idea of a alternative visual, you know, presentation. That's what anime primarily is. It's a visual presentation of some creative imaginative works. But the music is something that I'd say a lot of times gets either overlooked, or it's like, oh, we just kind of remember the one song in the OP or something.
Sure.
So like people were mentioning earlier, like, what about EDs that, you know, really like impacted you and stuff? And I was like, once I bring that up, Jacob's gonna go off. So just you wait. Here we go.
Yeah, like I mentioned the Your Lie in April second ED, right? I love that one. I absolutely love it, right?
Right.
There's other things, of course, like Asabi Asabase's ED, you know? No. But,
oh my god.
but oh god, yeah, Anahana's ED, Secret Base.
Oh,
okay, when we
I haven't
watch
seen that yet. I haven't seen that yet.
But Black Lagoon's ED, Don't Look Behind by Edison. Oh my god, I love that ED so much. Like
yeah, it's quite good.
It's so relaxing, it's so calming, it's so sad and somber, and it's so completely at odds with most of what Black Lagoon is thematically and the energy of it, you know? And yet that's also the kind of thing that sort of subtly throughout the show, that's what, in my mind, kept it separate from a lot of just other action anime out there. Like, if you... Like, just the ED, with the visuals and everything, it's a great, like, little example of less is more and things like that. Just look up the Black Lagoon ED, and that's just all it is. And there you go. And it begs the imagination to wonder, what is the story behind this? When would this actually happen in the narrative? Because you're pretty sure it has to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Like, and...
Berserk CD, yeah. Hunter x Hunter's EDs, The ED songs for Vinland Saga were great. Oh, yes, they were.
Yeah.
I think that this is also one of those areas where, because I'm not a musician in the slightest degree, one of the things that's really tough to kind of go into is I don't really gush as much about music, really, specifically. Okay. But there are songs where, when I listen to them at a specific convergence with something else that's going on, it can create this perfectly lasting memory, like this thing that just sticks in there and doesn't leave.
Any examples? Because I know I have a few.
Oh, go for it.
So, do you remember Hajime no Ippo has had a lot of amazing moments, right?
Oh yeah.
But do you remember in Ippo's second fight with Sendo, the entire time we've had the ED of I get up again,
right?
But then we get the actual point where Sendo gets back up again with the ED playing.
Yeah.
And
that was really good.
Oh boy.
I think that I think that it's for those moments when a song reaches beyond like the immediate emotion that the anime is trying to communicate to you, that it then lodges in your like long-term memory and becomes something really special. I think for me, it was when I started to get a little bit more in-depth analysis into Attack on Titan.
Oh, yeah?
And I re-listened to, after, like the 20th time or what have you, because at that point I was waiting for part 2 of season 3 to come out. When I re-listened to the season 3 part 1 OP of Attack on Titan, and I just kind of thought about it and was like, wait a minute. This is actually, like, in my opinion, kind of the best OP. Not really because of any individual component. I think it was the combination of, the music and the visuals itself. But there was this thing that was going on within me, I think, and the music, because I was in, hiatus mode of just like, I want more Attack on Titan, man. We just got cliffhanger. My balls are blue to the point of insanity. My theories in my mind are going nuts.
You didn't even realize what was in store for you.
No, I had no idea. But like the emotion that I was starting to get with regards to Eren as a character was getting, stirred up because of what had happened in the Historia little centric kind of mini arc conclusion that they gave to her character's, big growth in season 3 part 1. But the stuff that happened with Eren in the midst of that was something that I didn't really think about as much. But then, in rewatching the show and kind of going into my mind of like, Attack on Titan, it's so good right now. What's what's some ways that they can take it? And I just thought about Eren as a character and the fact that I was like, wait a minute, he's actually grown quite a bit. And that little tease we got in the beginning of season 3, part 1, was this haunting visage in my mind of just like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Attack on Titan hasn't ever done this.
Nope. I was very surprised when they did that.
Like, that was just one of those moments where the idea of thinking about that, of some kind of future where Eren was just burdened, just feeling the burden of how much he'd gone through. And then when his young self bumps into him, and it's season 1 Eren that's there. It's, you know, he's kind of younger, he's in his, you know, gear, what have you, but he's looking away. Yeah. And then the kid comes up and is trying to like, hey man, like, yeah. And I oh yeah, attack on my feelings. Yeah. Exactly. Like that moment, like
straight to the heart.
It went straight to the heart. And I couldn't theorize anymore. I just had to sit there and just go, oh, I think it's hitting me.
Yep.
I think it's hitting me. And I think from that point on, it was so powerful that even though I kind of love, you know, the classic hype. Yeah. Like that still like gets me, and there's a lot of nostalgia with that. I think my favorite OP in Attack on Titan has been supplanted. And that's rarely happened for me in a show where an OP, after, you know, watching a bunch of them over and over and over again, where I go, oh, the one that was kind of clearly the one that was my favorite, like with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I've never really changed in my favorite OP.
Yeah.
I've changed maybe a little bit in like the second and third ones and what have you, but the favorite one has never really changed, even though I've seen that show like 6 times at this point.
I mean, how can you possibly top again?
I mean,
like,
you can't.
You really can't.
Like the final,
good luck.
Right. There's the final OP, which has a unique emotion for it that I think is really strong.
It is
and then
really
there's another
good.
one, I think it's the second OP that's also quite good. But yeah. That's kind of my music story, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot when I mentioned Lost My Pieces and Home as like the 2 ones that just make me cry.
Right.
I forgot the third. And that's the A Place Further in the Universe insert song.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
That. If you haven't seen A Place Further in the Universe yet, just watch it. I know it's not an action-y type show, and if that's not your thing, I get it.
Yeah.
But damn.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
Right. The JoJo's OPs taught me to not skip openings. Okay, so can we shift focus here and talk a little bit about, I would say, let's talk about visuals.
Okay.
Because this is something that I think got most of us into anime. The visuals of anime are not consistent across anime.
No.
You are going to get very different styles depending on what you do.
Yes.
Or what you watch. And even within studios.
Yes.
Depending on different people that work on it and stuff.
Right.
So while there might be kind of the era that you're in, and there's certain things that kind of tend to be there in whatever era of time you're watching anime, there are certain times where the visuals just pop in a way that just grips you and it does something fun. And I think that, straight up, the visuals that they give you in the JoJo OPs as just a visual treat experience are something that are so large, so much larger than life, so insanely fun, and so full of just wacky, colorful experience that you can't help but then go, I'm watching however many episodes of whatever this is.
Right. Like
now.
Like just JoJo's in general. Like there were so many episodes in part 3 where if it wasn't for the fact that it was, 1, brought to life wonderfully by Davey Productions, 2, Araki's wonderful, wacky style, you know? I wouldn't have really cared that much.
True.
But you know what? Seeing these super, like, you know, muscly dudes with crazy fashion sense, you know, being like, all right, where's the, I don't think this could possibly be a stand user. There's an obvious one other person that is also super muscly and has their, or some even more outlandish fashion sense.
Right.
Who could it possibly be? If there was, theoretically, if there was someone, where would they be? I don't know. I don't know. It could be anybody.
Could be anyone.
Yep.
It could be this countertop.
And then it
By the way,
actually
I'll have
turns
some
out to be
beers,
the
you know?
countertop. You know?
Right.
Yeah. But or just every time that you Yutaka Nakamura animates like a fight, like he's the guy who did like the Saitama versus Boros, and like I saw someone mention Sword of the Stranger earlier, like the fight in Sword of the Stranger,
Right.
like, or a lot of stuff in MHA. It's just
So anime in and of itself does not have to be fantasy. But I want to bring up something that is the reason why I think the visuals are one of the main reasons why most of us got into anime. Because if you like fantasy, one of the things that is something I'm going to kind of guess you're probably a fan of is the idea that you can escape reality a little bit and go into some creative experience. Oh, hold on. Gaius 1000 with the 1000 bits. Thank you so much. Like a fallen angel. Toki no Kaze ni. Yeah, Red Swan. Yep. Good stuff. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Oh, we also have a few subs, so let me just read these real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Follows from Chen Fan number 1, Lucario Trainer, Lady Yona, Theosu, Kebab Me Chips. Israel did wow. Kebab Me Chips, we already got with the tier 1 sub. With the tier 1 sub, thank you. Spoopy Skeleton Man, thank you for the follow. King of Crimson Kings with the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What was I talking about?
Visuals and fantasy, even if it's not fantasy, escape.
Right. So the immersion and that sense of wonder you get when you see something fantastical, or you get to go into some kind of fantastical world. Anime, by the nature of its own medium, is in some ways a fantastical aspect of that just within the visuals.
Yeah. Like, I think some of you may remember us telling this story because we've told it a few times. But one of the things that we were really into before anime, and it was basically anime, was Heroes, right? Before there were a billion superhero shows out, we had Heroes, and Heroes was great. But something that I always wanted to see was the visuals actually being used, because it was really more of a soap opera drama sort of thing than an actual like superhero show, it felt like, because TV show, you got limited budget. You can't actually show them using their superpowers because that's expensive, right? Mm-hmm. So even though there might be something that you would expect someone to do if they had these powers or whatever, I don't get to see it, right? Mm-hmm. First season Heroes was amazing, so I'm not talking about that. But and then anime. You don't have to worry about that here.
Well, like the whole thing is that visual treat experience. Mm-hmm. Even if, and this is something that I think is really important for those of us that might have stumbled into a little bit of snobbish territory with regards to animation.
Oh, yeah?
This is something that maybe in some ways just the fact that we're watching Eizouken is something that make me go, oh, wait a minute. I need to pull back a little bit on a lot of the ways I look at animation.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of shows out there that are, basically I would say less, well animated than something like Violet Evergarden, for instance, here.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's not as well animated as Violet Evergarden.
Or even just, some of the fights in like a really, popular shonen or something like that.
Yeah.
You're going to get some really good animation. But the act of actually going into this world that immerses you, despite the fact that you're watching kind of goofily drawn 2D characters that don't really have a lot of connection to what real people look like sometimes.
Sure.
Like just looking at the clamp style for character models and designs.
Oh yeah, Code Geass.
The Code Geass
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Long spindly arms and legs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the Yu-Gi-Oh character designs,
Sure.
Like just that kind of stuff where if you're going to specifically, wow, okay, we got that same troll back in here. So
Yeah.
let me just
Yeah, just ban him real quick.
yeah. Bam.
All right. Well, that was
hilarious.
a bit annoying.
Why can't I not
That's weird.
click off this?
Maybe you can move the window and then close it. I don't know.
No, this thing's just being dumb.
All right. Well. Okay, but back to the podcast. Like well, actually, okay. You were kind of going somewhere with the visuals. So the whole idea of, even if it's a bit sillier in style and doesn't look as realistic.
Yeah, my point is that the visual medium of anime in and of itself is something to be celebrated because it is something that attracted us to it, and you probably didn't come into anime watching the Violet Evergardens. The thing that got you into anime was something that had to basically take creative corners a little bit close to the edge. It had to basically get a little bit creative to find a way to make some kind of visual trick work so that we could enjoy it. One of the anime that I've talked about with like a lot of people with that's like an older anime that a lot of people I would say in the West like are really appreciated was Berserk.
Oh,
and Berserk is one of those anime. I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I watched Berserk because it had that kind of like just medieval, kind of style, swords and sorcery kind of thing. And it was good. And basically these are the kinds of people that are a little bit closed off to anime. So they didn't have any, bullshit. And I was just like, wow, that's a really interesting perspective to have there. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, Berserk is actually like pretty minimal when it comes to animation.
Yep. Like
quite a bit actually.
So funny story. First time I'd been hearing about Berserk and I was like, oh, I'll check out Berserk, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but for some reason I decided to look up like a Berserk clip on YouTube. And it was the Guts versus Buzzuzo, the guy with the big axe and everything. But all I saw was this dude with like a metal fishbowl on his head, right? And I was like, I don't know if I can buy this. Like,
right?
Maybe I'm not really interested after all.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it for a while.
That's so funny. What's kind of a good kind of point of comparison here is my first anime was Bleach. And Bleach had a pretty minimal I would say animation kind of style with regards to how much effort would be put into the average scene.
Yeah.
It had quite a bit of stuff going on when it got into the actual fast moving stuff and everything.
And it was awesome when it did. But I remember just being caught up in the idea of that there's this whole new style of telling stories. The minute a character's jaw went, and I was just like, it made me go, wait, what? That's the funny humor stuff? Wait, okay. Or Rukia with her comics, and she would animate her explanations,
right?
And just be like, you get it now, right?
Right, exactly. And it's such a goofy way to do things, but it's something that is it's something you're not gonna find in live action. That's a unique thing. Or the fact that every time what's-his-face, McForgettable high schooler came to see Ichigo or what have you, he would leap in style in the same way that the dumb, kid usually jumps at their crush
Uh-huh.
in anime, but instead it's to the main character,
Yeah.
the guy, and he clotheslines him every single time or like strangulates him or something.
Why am I thinking that guy's name is Keijo?
I don't remember what his name is, but the fact that that was a gag in the story that I never really found that funny, but I just remember it being a thing of like, oh, that's an anime thing. But the fact that that's an anime thing was just something that was like, oh, right,
Yeah.
cool.
Or
I'm not
like-
comfortable with it.
Or like Ichigo's dad, all the times that he tries to attack Ichigo, and it's like, wait, what? Like I remember when I couldn't.
Okay, those were pretty funny. Yeah,
Like, but for a while,
Keigo.
Keigo, that's
That's
right.
funny.
Keigo.
You were pretty close.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's right. It's basically the same thing. And if it was in English, it's even closer to Keijo. But,
Sure.
Okay, so it was pretty similar. But like all the times when Ichigo's dad would attack him, that took me quite a bit to get used to because I was like, he could actually seriously hurt his son there,
Right.
And then it's like, oh no, okay, this is a thing. All right, cool. And to this day, I am very, very glad that Rukia was my first true introduction to the tsundere trope.
Oh my gosh. What's really fun also about this is when you get into something that has, I would say, more of a childlike wonder with regards to the way that you're discovering the world or the unique fantastical elements within the world. There's this thing that I think at some point I eventually started to get a little bit numb to, and that was just the idea that this was happening. And maybe it was because it was a novelty. I didn't have a lot of experience with it. But that first time an anime character did their power-up and then released an energy blast
Oh,
of stuff,
sure. Oh, yeah.
now I've seen that so many times that it's not special for me anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that there's something really impactful when you realize that, oh, wait, it was probably an energy blast that actually got you into anime if you were, a young boy
Oh, yeah.
on the age
Oh,
of
yeah.
whatever, getting into anime.
Do you remember the first time you're watching Bleach and Ichigo goes to do his Bankai? Or no, was it even his Bankai?
It was
no.
his Getsuga Tensho.
Yeah, it was
but
his
he didn't
Getsuga
even call it
Tensho.
that. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even call
yeah.
it that.
And he just
That was
and
the
then-
Bankai.
Oh no, okay, that was
Yeah,
Bankai.
yeah.
Yeah, no, but that was that. No, but that's what I'm talking about. Where the
Right.
camera rotates around and you see like his clothes start to like get
Right,
blasted
right.
back and everything. Like that was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, like, this is one that I kind of want to joke around with, but also, like, get into some fun things with this. What was your favorite first of, like, the first few that you experienced in, like, the first show you watched or what have you, the first battle shonen that you watched? What was that first, like, really over-the-top display of color, energy, or something like that in an anime that made you go, like, oh, this is kind of hype. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So, like, I know a lot of people, a lot of guys specifically, reference Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball as being one of those shows for them, where they don't actually go back and watch it much really anymore. Yep, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super Saiyan, yep, Super Saiyan
Alex
Goku.
Louis Armstrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
The thing is that the thing itself became a novelty, even though hold on, I'm gonna do a little thing here. There we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Hopefully that
Taking
makes them
some
stay away now.
taking some preemptive action.
Yep. Good move.
But I think that this is something like really special with regards to anime, is people will get that first time experience with their gigantic blast of energy, or even if it's just a transformation or something
Sure,
like that. You're
yeah.
just like, they can do that.
Or you know
What?
You know what it was for me?
Yeah.
because the blast of energy and Bleach and stuff were great. But for me, it was the Determinator aspect in Bleach. Because I had never really seen that before.
The blood coming down this specific area here.
Yeah.
And then the other one where it comes down to here
gash
and
down
then
the chest.
Then it circles the eyes and then comes down here as well.
Talking about Getsuga Tenshos, when not the actual Getsuga Tensho itself, but when Ichigo is fighting Renji in Soul Society, right? And then he's covered in blood and he just raises his sword up. And, like, it's not about the Getsuga Tensho. Once he does that, it's like you know that he's won at this point, right?
Right.
That was just so awesome. It was like the idea of, wait a minute, is there any potential truth to this? That even if it doesn't involve superpowers and things like that, that maybe if I buckle down and apply myself and grit my teeth when it hurts and everything, that I can also go the distance, do the thing, you know, become fourth Hokage or fifth or whatever, you know, like do all of that stuff. And that was just
see,
that inspired me a lot as a kid.
Right. I think if you were thinking that deeply as a kid, you're a strange breed. Because like I was just like really cool colors, like this is just really awesome. And usually they save the best music as well for that moment where the transformation or the blasts of energy happen. But you guys are saying a lot of stuff with regards to. Yeah, hold on. People are saying a lot of things with Dragon Ball Z and stuff. There's a lot of things here with that. Have you seen this video where the kid tries to turn Super Saiyan? No, I haven't. Anime knows what's cool is as if I'd never truly seen cool before anime. Okay, that's maybe another thing. Where else in visual mediums have you heard the rule of cool actually used? Seriously. I don't think I heard of that before anime. Like,
I think...
Like, where did you actually hear that for the first time?
First time I heard that was in a Gigguk video when he was talking about Baccano.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh. Okay, wow. Well, so yeah, anime, okay.
Yeah.
Only action movies, no? Maybe action blockbusters? Okay, sure. Sure. So those movies are trying to get you to feel a specific way with regards to the character who's going on their reason to do all the action stuff, you know? But I think what's really cool about anime is that the whole medium is one that you end up just getting immersed into if you accept the visual presentation as it is. And that, yes, characters can jump 200 feet. Why? Who cares, dude?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, yes. Characters can scream really loud and then energy comes off of them and they get angry.
Yeah.
No, they don't have superpowers. This is just regular high school students getting upset because the goddamn, Baka main character is not understanding your tsundere love.
Oh, man. Do you remember what it was like when it was first just like, you're watching an anime like Bleach, for instance, right?
Can we shift off of Bleach a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
We're using it too much.
But where something supernatural is happening with no real explanation, and you're just supposed to accept it, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just, that's normal. Why not?
Right.
And it's like, okay. All right.
Yeah, JoJo's would have it just in the character designs.
Yeah.
I'm 15 years old. Sure you are. Yes, absolutely.
There's have you seen the gif of the Invader Zim movie?
Right.
Where there's the ship exploding in the sky, and there's the super old looking dude, and he's like 6.5 feet tall with a trench coat that's billowing in the explosion. He's like, my name is such and such. I'm 12 years old.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh
yes.
man.
Oh, it's so good. Daily reminder that Koichi is older than Giorno. Yep, there you go. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to kill
5'11" versus 6 foot.
Right. It is that basically. I just say that there's other anime we're wanting to talk about as well. In addition to that, when Gaara, Timari, and the other puppet guy came to help Shikamaru's team, that shit was pretty hype. Not gonna lie. So that's a Naruto thing. So I ask you to translate. Is that a?
I think I remember that part, and it was pretty cool, but I only remember it vaguely. But they were enemies for a long time, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
SOS Bros, 1,000 Year Blood War, watch through, make it happen, guys. Thanks for the bits. I don't think we're going to react to the final arc of Bleach unless for some reason they do a really good job animating it.
I definitely want to watch it though.
Like, you'll probably end up watching
I
it
definitely
for sure.
want to watch it
I just don't think I will necessarily.
Like, that way I can... Because I'll be hoping each time that it's like, all right, are they going to change the ending? No, okay, they're not. All right.
That's
Anime original. No, okay.
Actually, you know what would happen, though?
Mm-hmm.
If they straight up just did an anime original ending and use that as marketing, and they're like, hey, by the way, this is an anime original ending. People are going to be like...
Done after the manga's finished.
Well, right,
Yeah.
right. After the manga's finished, and then people are like, wait, what?
Oh man.
So I could see that being a thing that was like a thing that would market it pretty well. Right. Oh, I know, it was a joke. Yeah, for sure. Jacob, I think you have quite a lot of people that'll be happy to see, at the very least. You maybe go through some discussions on Discord with it or something.
No,
you could do Discord reactions or something.
We do our first one-person reaction where you're just not... No,
that would just be so bad.
No, that'd be awful.
Imagine us getting to the end of a reaction and we're discussion time and we look to our left or right respectively and we just kind of go, oh.
Yeah, nope.
And it's just
I tried talking about the Disappearance movie at one point for 45 minutes by myself when you were out of the country. And, It was tough.
That was the 0.5 podcast, right?
Yeah, the 16.5.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was for the Disappearance movie.
Would you ever react to your favorite One Piece moments from the anime? I don't want to make kind of talks regarding One Piece anime reactions and stuff like that because we're doing the manga and really loving it right now.
Yep.
Okay, so with visuals and stuff, and with regards to animation, are there any things where the visual experience of it created a story or a memory for you guys? You too,
there are
so
quite
many.
A few.
But I want to hear some of them, and then what was the you part that came into that as well?
Thorfinn with the dropping his dagger and the reflections in it, I know that was probably something where. And people showed us the panels, but where it was in the manga like that as well, you know? But oh my god, that, as far as visuals that perfectly communicate so much more than the actual colors and lines.
Sure.
That's
one
of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I really like this one that you kind of put in here on the notes here that I think is something that's kind of special. And so in Kill la Kill, there's a set of characters that are called the Four Devas. And as characters, they're kind of there to fill a specific archetypal list of anime shtick characters.
And they do it very well.
You have Beefy Bro. You have, Nani Sore.
Exactly.
The waifu girl that has the quirky voice.
Right.
And then you have, awkward hairstyle, 5-head galaxy brain.
Right.
Guy.
Probably the weakest of the four.
And then you have the shonen protagonist who's with a sword and stuff.
With the,
very particularly.
Yeah.
Double, dual wielded. From a certain pelvic region.
That's right.
But the thing is, they're all being led by this character who's kind of the best, character in Kill la Kill.
Oh, yeah.
And weirdly enough, And when you're going towards the end of the show, there's a scene that really kind of sticks with you when you see it.
Before what was hopefully going to be the final battle,
Yes.
And Satsuki and the Four Devas, they get their drinks right before the what was it for that one, the cultural festival or whatever, I forget the pun name that they had for the event for that specific one, but
gotcha.
And Raggyo's going to show up, and it's and we don't know up till this point what exactly is the deal with Satsuki and the Devas. We know that Satsuki isn't the actual main antagonist, right?
Yes.
We know that there's more to this, right?
Yep.
And And this is just after that awkward scene in the bath earlier that episode, where it's like, okay, no, this is definitely different than we originally thought. And then they all toast, no words, like, or not much, it's like, okay, tomorrow's the day or whatever. And then they just toast, break the glasses on the ground. It's like, oh man, like, so much of Kill la Kill is ridiculous and silly and everything, right?
Yeah.
But that was where it's like, oh shit, yeah, it's real serious. Like they're about to throw down. Like they literally just did throw down something,
Right.
And now they're about to throw down, and oh man.
For you, it's the first scene in Ghost in the Shell when the Major jumps out of the building and fades into invisibility.
Oh,
yeah, I think there are a
good
couple
one.
iconic visual moments in anime as like a cultural medium that have been used and referenced to the point of where they're everywhere. And some of them are really cool in that like they themselves are an important one. But if you didn't watch them at the time when they came out with the thing, for instance, like let's say the Akira bike slide, for instance.
Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
So when main character is, riding on the bike, comes across, skids over,
with the light
looks
trails,
towards, looking at the camera and then sliding away, like that moment, that animation, that specific thing has been used like 15 times in different anime. And it's just like this little thing of just like, yeah, cool, it's cool. But then every other anime that does it is just like, oh yeah, we know. Well, one of our predecessors paved the way for us, so we'll pay homage. That's one of my favorite things with visuals and stuff as well, with regards to anime.
I thought you were going to mention the transformation in Akira,
but that
part was
that's a unique visual thing. I think.
Sure, yeah.
I think also with me specifically, I don't find bombastic big visual moments as actually that memorable.
Oh, okay.
It's usually more like a specific bit of character animation that'll do it for me.
Oh man.
Or to be fair, for anything that's a little bit bigger, it's something where an individual character kind of has that moment where their dramatic emotion leads to a big visual thing. So Akira's transformation works like that, but it's more just the initial moments where he's screaming and his cape's billowing.
Yep.
But once he transforms, it's almost like in some ways that part, I don't like to remember that.
Yeah,
it's
it's hard to watch.
Painful.
Like,
yeah,
but
kind of painful, super painful.
Well, but that kind of thing though, that's why I love A Silent Voice so much. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I love A Silent Voice so much. Because there's just something about the idea that so many people went to the painstaking effort of crafting a person's facial expression, a character's facial expression, frame by frame, to be able to get it just right.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to put that so much heart and effort and everything was put into it, that they were able to get it to have such like depth and so many layers to it, where nothing needs to be said.
Right.
You can just watch what's happening, and a scene will have will be more evocative for you emotionally than
true.
like some entire shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also one of the things that bleeds pretty well into the next thing we're going to bring up. But we have to bring up the one visual treat that all anime fans know is once you've seen this, I don't care what is in your long-term memory storage bank, you will never forget this scene for the rest of your life. This is truly cultured and one of the best visual experiences in anime.
Yes.
One that goes from, nice to Nisei. That is very specifically
and you got it, GLaDOS.
Clean bit
you
of animation.
Guessed it. Yeah.
And
So no, straight up, like the toothbrush scene is actually incredible.
Incredible.
Go
for it, Jacob.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall as you know, the people are like, okay, so now Nisui Sin in general puts a lot of in-depth description into very particular things, right? And we've handled that, right? We were able to do the Hanakawa panty shot just fine. You know, we were able to do lots of different things, right?
Absolutely.
And properly communicate it. Okay. What about this? All right. Now, normally we've done a lot of condensing, right? Showing the little timer for the, yes, the Hanakawa panty shot happened in 1 second, but slowing it down. Okay, cool. But for this...
Demon
I
Crux,
think
oh my
we need
God.
to just blow all of the stops. How many people did they even have working on that? I would love to talk about it in a way that makes it seem like I know what I'm talking about,
Right.
you know? Talking about directing or shot composition and all that stuff. But the idea that those kinds of words are things that I want to use about,
Beautiful.
one, an anime, two, a specific scene in an anime, three, a scene about a rather arousing toothbrush scene of
Arousing?
you know they were getting horny towards the end of it. You like
What? No. No. No, there's no way. There's
Like-
no way at all.
oh man.
Wow. Oh my God. Chat. You guys are hilarious. I think that the point we're trying to make also with this is that anime has the power to arrest your imagination in very powerful ways. What you do with that imagination, hey, that's up to you. They're just drawings, man. But when you think about moments in anime that keep your attention and have done, like crazy things with locking it into your long-term memory. Yes, even things that, couldn't be described as,
By the way,
yeah.
what I said arousing, I was talking about the characters in the story.
Sure you were, Jacob.
That's what I was talking
sure
about there.
You were.
But
So within all of that, Jacob, you're so funny. Like if you hadn't said that, I don't think anyone would have assumed anything. They would have just laughed about it internally. But now that
really?
you pointed it out, they're gonna be like, sure, there you go. But there you go. That's just the way things are,
yep.
and that's just something that's really powerful. So
Yes, because it is indeed powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Change subject, you pervs.
Well, okay.
Well, okay. So in that toothbrush scene, they had to have pretty decent, voice acting in order to, show how Karen was dealing with the fact that this was the experience she was going through at the specific moment. And
my
in
God.
Monogatari, I would say we get some of the best voice acting in anime. Scenes that recently, some of them we've seen, where they're still stuck with me.
Yep.
Because I think this is the next kind of layer with regards to anime in which we kind of had that one scene that might have, locked us in as like, okay, I'm an anime fan now. It's usually a combination of these three things, the visuals, the music, the voice acting, and then, some other things as well. But like those three main things.
Yeah.
Because even if it's just Goku going, like that's you're going to remember that. It might not be because of the way the screams sound, but the fact that it's combined with all this extra stuff in there, and then the voice acting is just the initial cue. An example of this is when my brother and I will end up quoting something to each other. We'll quote a specific line. And then we immediately are cast into the scene and we know exactly what's happening. And everything is working out just great. And what was cute when we were growing up is our dad would be like, yes. And he would try to quote along with us.
Oh my
and
God.
he would say the next line. But the problem is what he would do is he would take the line, remove like 3 of the words,
Right.
like jumble them into like another order, add like 2 other words that just don't even fit within the sentence, and he would say it all super confidently, like, haha.
And with a completely different tone and sound and everything.
And cadence and emphasis on the different syllables.
Oh my God.
And we just look at him like, no.
And
no.
And it would be even worse when it would be like really generic, like lines where the words aren't even that unique, so there wouldn't be something to connect it to the work itself, you know?
Yep.
And he'd be like, you totally know what I'm talking about, right? And it's like,
no. But because it was that slight deviation, it doesn't cue the memory for us.
Because when we're thinking about quoting things, it's to a very exact level where we can do something and have, say, 3 different quotes, but because there's those slight variations, we can say them to each other in those different ways, and we'll instantly go to the place where it's like, okay, yeah, you're talking about, you know, this movie, this show.
Because those things that we're able to quote are long-term memory things that were locked in because of really powerful things that accompanied that voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
And anime has some of the best overdramatic voice acting really out there at all.
Yeah.
And in some ways, if you just take the fact that it is acting, like it is acting, and in some ways
so easy to forget.
Like it's so easy to forget that, but it's also like anime doesn't try to hide it. Like you listen to these people talk, like for the most part, and you listen to a regular Japanese person just chatting away, there is no comparison at all. It's like, hey, they're speaking anime like very like intensely over the top. Like there are some shows more specifically where it's definitely a lot more, let's say, nuanced and multi-dimensional. Like, you know, Marsh comes in like a lion.
Yes,
some of that stuff.
Yeah,
the voice acting there is very subtle and is really good. But I really, really love how much anime gets us all in some ways into voice acting, even if it's not like you wanting to be a voice actor, but you then like. You become impassioned about the act of voice acting.
Mm-hmm. It's weird to hear Takehito Koyasu speaking normally after hearing Dio. Yeah, I could definitely imagine that being a bit odd. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, or because we were talking about Monogatari and everything. I wrote down her name.
Sengoku?
But Kana Hanazawa?
Yeah, Kana
Hanazawa.
One of the most legendary voice actresses of anime ever.
Yep. But like, I didn't really like Sengoku before that arc, right? It was like, of all the girls in Monogatari, it's like, you know that they're all best girl when they get their focus. And I think I even said this in one of the reactions. It's like, except for Sengoku, you know, like except for her, you know, because, you know, whatever. She's not that great. Whatever. Right? And then Kana Hanazawa comes along and it's like, hold up a minute.
No. You're not allowed to talk shit about
Wait just
Sengoku
a second.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to drop like the hottest mixtape of voice acting on this man's career.
You're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today.
And
Kana Hanazawa.
There you go. You know? Or like, okay. Again, a silent voice because I freaking love this movie.
Right.
But Sayori Hayami as Shoko did an amazing job just in general, right? But that part where it's I'm doing the best I can, like, you know, shaking him and everything, like, there was a point on our Discord where someone responded to me with a GIF of that, and even just didn't even have to have the sound for it. I heard it, and it hurt, and it was cruel, and that's something that I think no one should ever do because that's a bit too much escalation.
Yeah.
But
yes, also the voice actress for Sodachi in Monogatari as well.
Yep.
Has some of the best voice acting as well, and I would say in some ways hers is also quite subtle at points. In some ways, making it, in my opinion, a little bit better even than Kana Hanazawa's big moment that we're thinking of in. Earlier parts of Monogatari.
Yeah.
Because there's this way that you communicate emotion in voice acting where you have to basically let the person who's, the drawing of the person doing the talking, basically, the character, have it look like it's them actually saying it. But then when you then hear the voice acting, eventually you'll hear the same voice actors and actresses like across the whole thing. You might start seeing their face pop up when it's them doing the acting. But if it's done so well that you're like, no, I can hear this scene. Like Jacob was saying with the gif of silent voice.
Yeah.
There's those specific moments where you're like, oh, can anyone else hear this scene? Anyone else hear this moment? Like this image has audio attached to it. Those moments when it's the voice acting, it's just, that's powerful.
By the way, apparently Sayori Hayami, I found this out, voices Yotsuki. Yeah, why did I blank on that? Which is just really cool. But also, you mentioning Oikura reminded me, I'll do this after this podcast ends, I didn't think of Oikura because specifically that goes in a very special box that I hadn't taken it out of until now, of voice acting that was so good that I actively was like, nope, I can't listen to this, and sort of turned my brain off for listening closely to it at that point because
it's really painful.
Because it's painful.
Yep.
It's really freaking painful. And so but don't worry, after this podcast is over, I'm going to go and rewatch that whole scene to get it again because
What's this one you have on here about Spice and Wolf, Jacob?
Okay, so it's one of the few ones, or the only one on here I think that's for the dub.
Right.
But so the main character in Spice and Wolf is voiced in the English dub is voiced by J. Michael Tatum.
Okay,
right?
sweet.
We know of J. Michael Tatum doing English dubs for the main character in Steins Gate, right?
Even when he's up against Mamoru Miyano.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh my God, how do you compare to that?
Yeah, that's unfair. And yet, he's still just amazing, right?
He is, yeah.
And in Spice and Wolf, oh my God, like, my personal favorite dub voice actor is probably Crispin Freeman for like the general listening to them talk, right?
Yeah, because of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah, his just bass voice is so wonderful to listen to.
It's
right?
a pretty like sexy voice.
Yeah. It's just a sexy voice, right?
Yeah.
With J. Michael Tatum, though, there's something about how he delivers everything in Spice and Wolf as the main character, and the atmosphere of the show itself combined with that, and then of course his conversations with the other main character, which are just absolutely wonderful. But it is one of the most immersive things I've ever experienced in anime. Like and I don't want to be building it up too much, but it works so well. I want to just sit back, relax, and just let my mind drift to a journey through the countryside, talking about economics and stuff, and like, yeah.
Soda-G is also Kyoko from March Comes In Like a Lion.
Yep. And you can tell she does a really good job.
Oh, people are saying that Clanad has some amazing voice acting as well. Okay. That's one I have yet to see. Jacob has seen it, though.
Yeah. And it does.
But the scene that gets me the most in all the movie in the silent voice is when Shoko's on her knees apologizing. It gets me every single time.
Yeah, that one also is just amazing.
Yeah, we have seen Code Geass. Leorio and Kimura voice actor. Oh, yeah, rest in peace. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yuki Kaji is my favorite voice actor. That's one of the voice actors
really
that,
good.
As I've watched more and more anime with him in it, I have as I've watched more and more of anime where he was voice acting, all along, but it's just like you get to hear more and more of his range and stuff. You start to unhear Eren, if that makes sense.
I know, right?
That's the thing that I think is really cool.
Yeah,
about
Eren
him.
Is not his normal style of voice.
It's really not.
Or at least Kid Eren is. But as he grows up, it deviates a bit, right? Because in most of the voices that I've seen or heard from him, it's like I'm the kind of young kid that really makes you just want to root for,
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh wait, no, that's not that, like,
right.
Eren doesn't stay that way for very long. He grows up and gets very angry. But yeah,
he does have a very recognizable voice.
Yes, that
for
too.
sure. One of the things that I found to be particularly enjoyable about listening to voice acting in general in anime is every once in a while I'll get that vibe in live action that the casting was perfect. The problem is that in some ways I am too much focused on their body language rather than the actual kind of nuances in the way they deliver their lines. So,
Gotcha.
I think that's when they say like an actor inhabits the character, where they basically like put on the persona of the character and then they just live it. I think Harrison Ford as Han Solo is a great example of an actor bringing the persona of a character, even though like that guy's got just a sexy voice. Like he's just got that part
he really
down.
does.
Like, can you imagine Harrison Ford voice acting in a dubbed anime when he was like younger or something? He would have done such a good job at it. I think personally he would have. Younger Harrison Ford.
Right.
But in more recent times, I've been watching, rewatching anime that I watched, from like 5-10 years ago or something like that. Or actually, yeah, that's crazy. Anime that I watched 10 years ago. I think I've been watching anime for about exactly 10 years though. So it's probably more like 8 years. But there's a lot of anime where the voice acting is something that I just kind of listened to and didn't really enjoy. It was just there doing its job.
Right.
And there'd be moments where you could hear the actual acting come out in the voice in a way that was just like, whoa, was this there this whole time? So I'm almost like wanting to know more about other people's stories with this, but like, what are those moments where the acting and the voice acting like stuck with you? Like it was really powerful. I want to know, what are those moments?
Mako's Uncle Iroh.
Yeah.
Leaves from the vine.
Falling so slow. Like that's how you can just instantly make anyone born in the 90s just start weeping.
Nope.
Just start weeping. It's so precious and beautiful. Aaron during the court scene, very cool. Yeah, for sure. Wish that both of you watched Anohana. Eventually, my man, eventually.
It'll happen. I'll get this boy to watch that show.
Want the world's best voice acting? Kintaro from Golden Boy's dub is the most memorable. Legendary even. Okay. When they cry in one certain scene that involves a lot of screaming. Ooh, okay. Subaru from ReZero, constantly amazing work. Yeah, there's a couple moments in ReZero Season 1 that have like really good stuff from Subaru. Aku from Samurai Jack or Iroh from Last Airbender. Yeah, Aku. I'll see you next time, samurai. I loved Aku and his humor, the way he delivered a lot of the humor. It was great.
Hawkeye versus Lust. That whole scene was just amazing. Like whether you're talking dub or sub,
that's
true. And then also Alphonse at that point, because he has a pretty amazing scene in that whole bit there too.
Right. United States of Smash, yeah, for sure. There are some really, really good moments in Dororo during the rage moments. I was literally just talking with a friend of mine about Dororo's episode 6 when he starts screaming and going crazy and killing all the other samurai, the mercenaries that killed the other people. Yeah.
Asabase's Hanako, truly a gem. She really does nail her lines. Like she just puts so much extra energy into it. It's wonderful.
Oh, and then Mustang steals the scene. Yeah, from that part. Yeah, in Full Metal Brotherhood. Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. Just FMAB, both sub and dub is amazing.
Yep.
Aoi Koga as Kaguya. Yes, that is actually one of those shows where I don't think I really give as much attention really to the voice acting in Kaguya.
Yeah.
Love is War. Like, I think that's one of the shows where there's so much fun going on that the immediate surface level, like behind the scenes stuff doesn't really register in my mind because I'm still so focused on like the character little jokes and interactions and stuff. But that's a really good point. Yeah. The Haikyuu Boys' ridiculous noises. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's one that I'll have to, like, eventually, when, the anime's all finished and everything, to go back and see, in terms of, like, adaptation, how much of that stuff came across through the manga, like, you know, from manga into the actual anime.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, someone said something that totally made me like drew me out of what you were saying for a second, because I was like, oh my god, yes, Konosuba, sub and dub, like both, but
yes,
Aqua,
Kana freaking Suba,
Aqua and Megumin in sub in particular. Darkness is good too, you know, but Aqua and Megumin in particular in the sub,
right,
and then in the dub, Aqua and Darkness. Like, oh my god. Oh yeah, and Kazuma in both is really good.
Oh
but like,
my
god.
Oh
like,
my god. As far as anime that took the world by storm,
yep,
all of us will remember Megumin in the sub probably just yelling, explosion!
Yeah.
Like, even even the cringe of, you know, hearing us say it and stuff. You guys definitely like remember that. Like,
and then Christina V breaking into song while like moaning / screaming, like
oh my god. I think that Konosuba is one of those shows that it's not a show you're necessarily going to rewatch the whole thing of. But there are those moments, and every one of you has those few moments where you're like, that part.
Yeah,
that part. I watch that like every like month or so, like at least once, maybe more.
Wanze Twitch dub.
The Wanze Twitch dub. God
yes.
damn it.
Yes.
If you're here on our One Piece dramatic readings, you know what Warforged Games is talking about with the
good stuff.
The Wanze Twitch dub. Oh god.
Oh yeah, Bakugo at the end of season 3. Yeah, that was real good.
Yeah. Yeah. My kitchen. Oh my god.
Watashi no smartphone.
Oh yes. Kazuma rips the little girl's paper. Yes. Araragi's voice acting. Yep, we're doing the comedy as well. Yes. Are you guys not reacting to the movie Konosuba? We already watched it. We watched it on our own time.
Wonderful.
We discussed it a little bit, but no,
yeah.
we've already watched it. Duval though. Yes, that's true. Duval. The Holy Sword Excalibur. Okay, so we're kind of wrapping up, I would say, the voice acting side of things here and just talking about a couple ones, but there are a couple anime where there were characters that were so entirely defined by their voice in a lot of ways that they stuck with us, not necessarily because they were great, but there's just something really unique about that. And I think this is, again, back to the whole, there are no rules in anime. You just create whatever you want to create. And when I think about, you know, the Holy Sword Excalibur, which you might have been originally referring to Konosuba at that point.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Holy Sword Excalibur. My legend dates back to the 12th century.
Excalibur,
Excalibur, Excalibur, Excalibur. That character, if you just hear the words Bekame and you immediately like just go like, oh my god, and you like literally lose a little bit of your life force. That's like the equivalent of something that was so pure and precious that it's like, what if Joffrey as a villain was like hyper concentrated into this like
harmless side character
that just kept talking and wouldn't shut the hell up.
So okay, Demon Crux, there's a clip, there was a clip on YouTube, I don't think it's up anymore, where it was Saber, Fate Zero, and you know, just this is the all the honor and, you know, whatever of all the fallen soldiers and heroes and everything, offering up to her, you know, and Excalibur, and just cut him. And oh my god,
I love those low effort shit post edits on YouTube. Those are the best.
It was perfect. It was beautiful. I wanted that, 28 seconds of my life back, and yet it was one of the best things I'd ever experienced.
It's wonderful. I think another example of that where the voice acting is more on that kind of cringe side of things, but it's become an iconic aspect of anime. And this is just one of the things we get to enjoy and experience with anime is Joseph Joestar's English. Like, that is,
my god,
a meme. And yes, it is like, kind of awkward at points, but oh my god, that's someone's voice acting. And they're putting their heart and soul into it.
Yep.
You can feel it. Isabu the bish! Oh no! Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Oh no!
He's gone now.
Yeah. Goodbye, Mr. Joestar. And that's not even Joseph's.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okabe's English, whether you're talking about in the actual Japanese or in the actual English dub, both for those scenes are so amazing.
Yes, Stroheim. I think that it's those moments where you hear something over the top and you go, okay, that's not necessarily great voice acting. But then you realize, no, they had to channel that energy. That is acting. Yep. It's just overly dramatic. That's something that if we were in a live action, this is actually part of the reason why, in my opinion, live action doesn't work. Do you know what kind of face they have to make sometimes in order to actually sound like that? It's not what their character looks like. Let me tell you that.
No.
The Joseph voice actor, like, actually like contorts his face and like changes everything in order to make that voice happen.
In live action, you can't underline. Like, like in anime, you can underline, bold, italics, highlight. Like you can do whatever the hell you want. Like Kaguya actually is one of those ones where I think the anime and maybe it was just because I only saw like the early parts of the manga, right? And the early parts of the manga were still really good, right?
Right.
But the difference from reading this thing and, okay, there's a narrator, all right, cool, whatever, right? To, Skushy. Like,
True.
Completely different experience. Different experience. Oh, man. Like, so much more was added to that series by just how much it was hammed up.
Right.
Like, because it's the kind of series where it's designed to be hammed up, right? The more ham, the better.
Yep. One of the other things I think that is kind of special about anime specifically, and this is something that we're kind of shifting away from voice acting for, but this is just kind of an extra thing that's like, hey, something I've appreciated is when anime does its equivalent of meta humor in some ways.
Oh, sure.
Where it's basically just reminding you, we're in the medium of anime, so I'm going to do anime stuff here. So enjoy.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it for the rest of the show.
It's what the kids call tsundere these days.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Even when there's little moments like that are like specifically just, there's no real like nuance to it. It's just blam, meta right in front of you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's great and fun and all. But it's just another reminder that there's people that are so immersed in this medium that is so varied and wonderful that you can end up having like so many different types of meta humor, and I very much enjoy that when it just hits just right,
Oh yeah, Daily Lives of High School Boys had some amazing meta humor.
Oh yes,
yes,
great example for sure.
Senjigahara did say her VA was great.
That's a great example.
Yep.
Yes,
and it's actually in the light novels. Like I love it.
That's when you're flexing as a light novelist. You're basically saying, God damn it, my future voice actor is going to be amazing.
Yeah, and in the first one, it's not like the series was already popular or whatever.
No,
this is the first light novel.
Beginning.
Like,
sometimes meta humor bothers me. I mean, it should bother you a little bit. It's literally an immersion breaker. That's the point of it. Is it saying, "Hey, are you immersed?" Now go back to your thing. Go back and get immersed. It's in some ways the story trying to the show or the anime or what have you trying to be like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna re-immerse you back into this quite quickly. I think one of my favorite ones that's so unexplained in terms of its like the more you try to explain meta humor, the worse it is, in my opinion.
Sure.
But an example of this where it's something that you just kind of go, wait, what? And then you just get re-immersed back in almost immediately is Konosuba pauses.
Yeah. Like,
Have you ever thought about those? Why are those there? It's
they
just goofy meta humor.
there is no in-universe explanation. They're not actually even in a video game. Yes, it's built to be very similar to a video game and video game.
It's so stupid,
but it's not actually one. Like,
yep. Oh my god. I just finished Daily Lives a week ago before I started Asabi. Oh my god.
Nice.
Welcome. Yeah. Wait, that's actually funny, Miguel. So you're saying you finished it a week before we started the next show in that slot? Miguel's thing is just like, yeah, I watched your reactions along with the show. So I'm like, oh, yeah. There you go. Meta humor equals JoJo reference. I mean...
Sure. Yeah, that is definitely one way to do it. And yes, on the topic of behind-the-scenes anime stuff that needs to be appreciated, Shaft in general, just like everything that they do, like specifically with Monogatari, you know, but also with things like March Comes in Like a Lion and Madoka Magica and whatnot. But like, because can you imagine if any other studio did Monogatari?
Well, it's one of those things that I don't really think about it that way because it's in some ways saying like, well, like, don't you think there might have been people that like when you saw like the first episode of something, you're like, the studio's not doing it right. But when you've seen like then 7 seasons of it, then you're
style.
like, they had a good line on it all along. Like,
that's probably
like
true.
I remember people were really worried because when we were gonna watch Vinland Saga, people were like, "No, you don't know necessarily. We've been burned so many times with like great manga and getting poor adaptations. You should wait until there are more episodes." And I'm like, "It's Studio Wit. Like,
they haven't failed us before.
They're gonna do a good job."
Yeah.
Like,
it's Studio Wit, and like Studio Wit has done before, they also got what's her name? The artist to do the ED. Like once I heard that, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that, Monogatari is one of those series that people thought was unadaptable, and for good reason. That makes a lot of sense for sure. So like, yeah, I think that the studio thing is also another layer of just us as anime fans that don't actually look at the group of people behind the work and stuff like that. Could end up thinking that when a studio works on it, it's always the same people working on it.
Right.
So therefore,
if that were the case, like, Madhouse would still be the reigning champion, probably. But
now it's like, what? Like,
I don't know.
KyoAni? Oof. Too soon.
Turns out they're...
Bones?
Well, KyoAni's rehiring now. Like, they're going through the rehiring process.
Yo! Yes!
Yeah.
Dude!
And it's cool. You can look up like all the details of it, and like you could even technically submit an application like through online. Like
that's legit.
I went and looked up all the stuff and everything, and it was really cool. And it's like,
that gives me
awesome.
like good warm feelings.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Bones is real good.
Bones is really good. David Productions done some really good stuff with JoJo's.
I would actually say, you know who I think kind of the reigning king is right now?
Probably like A1 Pictures, actually.
Well, A1 Pictures
financially,
Well, sure, but Trigger.
Trigger.
Yeah, like
Trigger with like a Patreon and everything, like that Trigger.
Yes, that Trigger. Hey, Patreons are the wave of the future, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so whatever.
but no, because so Trigger. I mean, granted, I haven't seen Darling in the Franxx, and apparently that pissed off a bunch of people. But the second half was not done by Trigger or something like that. But just think about it: Kill la Kill, Promare,
2012,
Little Witch, Promare was recent.
Yeah.
And like I can't think of a Trigger thing that I've seen that I didn't like.
Right. I think the thing with Trigger is more just that they're small, so they're able to kind of make that stuff happen. But someone brought up Production IG. I think that's a great example of kind of a king at this moment, because there's so many things underneath Production IG. That's how big they are.
Is Production IG still going? I always get Production IG mixed up with another studio. Oh no, yeah, of course Production IG is still
Production
going.
IG is like one of the super studios.
Right, yeah. For some reason, I get Production IG mixed up with another studio that like isn't around anymore or something, that has like not even a really similar name, but for some reason I always get the two of them confused.
But yeah, it's just it's anime is a medium that I love to gush about, but I think the thing that's tough with a lot of us when we're realizing that there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to watch anime and stuff is we can get a little bit fixated on decrying the thing that they're attached to and thinking that that's going to help, kind of showcase how wonderful anime is. I just really feel like there's a lot of things that we take for granted in anime, specifically.
Yeah.
And this podcast, I was really wanting to make sure that we found some way to celebrate those things that are just like, oh no, we those are privileges. We get to have that.
Like Daisuke Ono, every time he opens his mouth, just
yeah, true.
Whether it's his Jotaro or Irwin, I don't care. Like
yeah, I will follow you.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and then we have things like Netflix now actually getting involved in the whole thing as well. Getting some pretty cool stuff out there. Eizouken really got to you, huh? I think it has, yeah. Yeah, it really has.
Yep. I have heard
I did hear Daisuke Ono sing it, yes.
Sing JoJo.
Yes, it's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, Production IG owns WIT and MAPPA. Yep. Guys, you are ignoring Ufotable with Fate and Kimetsu. Those are giants. I think Ufotable's thing is that they don't do, I don't think they do multiple shows at the same time.
I feel like the impression, at least, that I've gotten from Ufotable is that they're like the fighter that doesn't fight often. And then they come in and it's like, oh, this person's coming into the ring.
They flop their big dick on the thing and just being like,
and it's
look
all
at
like,
the detail.
Oh, they're coming out of, not retirement, but like, they're showing their face, and then they kick butt.
Yeah, I think that Ufotable has a reputation because in some ways they restrain themselves from just doing a ton of stuff. And I don't know how they work specifically behind the scenes, but I don't think I've had a bad visual experience with a Ufotable work. That is something that is pretty impressive. Also, go back to their earlier days, and they were good at blending 3D and 2D in non-traditional ways.
Well, like I know you haven't seen Garden of Sinners, but like that's 2007 Ufotable, and damn, it's still like to this day really good.
Yeah.
And yes, we have definitely seen Gigix video on the anime studios as people and everything. It's wonderful and amazing.
It is really
Ufotable's one in particular of being the person with classical music in the background and everything. And, oh, sorry, honey, I'm at work, like that was perfect.
It's awesome. They're always coming back from an anime training arc. That's why they're always godlike.
Basically.
It's true. Onegai muscles. Shaft and Nut coming in clutch with the phallic imagery. Oh my god, yes. Studio Orange with Beastars and Land of the Lustrous?
Yes.
That's a really good point. We're, in the middle of Beastars right now and loving it. But more recently, I think the whole progression towards 3D being done well, yes, more often than not, actually, I would say, in the seasonal anime these days. Now, this is coming from someone that doesn't watch seasonal anime, really, and doesn't actually watch that many anime. But there's quite a few above average, 3D things coming out, these days.
Yep.
As opposed to, a few years ago when...
Beastars looks so good.
Beastars looks so freaking good.
Like Land of the Lustrous looked good. Right? But that was also something where the people weren't quite people, and in Beastars it's also a similar thing, but
sure.
But in Land of the Lustrous, it was animate objects that become people, right? In Beastars, it's animals, so something that's already living and moving and breathing and things like that, are then the characters.
Yeah.
And there are so many times when I forget that I'm watching a 3D anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like not on a technical literal sense, but like I'm watching it and I'm like da da da, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, with the way that character moved there,
yeah.
I can tell that this is actually, yes, it's 3D. But I totally would not have been able to tell if it was just like the stuff that happened prior,
Oh, sure.
And
sure.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've heard Dorohedoro is a show that is going like quite under the radar right now, and we should check that out.
Yeah.
It's been on, I think, 1 or 2 polls at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just 1, but the way they took advantage with the 3D and the camera work is phenomenal. Yes. If you're not watching Beastars, it's on Netflix. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's
highly recommend it.
It's wonderful.
Like, if you're someone that looks at the fact that it's, anthropomorphized. Am I saying it right? Anthropomorphized.
Or anthropomorphic, maybe, but
anthropomorphized
works.
Anthropomorphic. Yeah, animals that walk like people.
Right.
Go check it out.
Yep.
That's going to be like not a concern.
And sure. Like Spice and Wolf, if you're just hearing the people that say like, oh, that's just one of those like, furry fan service animes or whatever. No, that's totally not what it is. And yeah, go into it and enjoy it.
Golden Kamuy has incredible animation, except every time they include a bear, it looks like it was drawn by a 12-year-old. Hey, so see, that's the other thing, just because, for the most part, all of the stuff is done pretty well doesn't mean it's always going to be done well. So, yeah, there's that.
By the way, Dorohedoro is 1 core. Cough, cough, just saying.
Yeah, I think the dictator slot for the next one is already decided, though.
Yeah.
And Dorohedoro is still pretty recent, so we don't usually put really recent shows in the dictator slot. It's usually something that's like 6 months to a year old at least, and
been on
it's also
several polls.
Been on several polls, and it's not really winning.
I say when I think I did, what was it, SSS's Gridman, which I think was on like 1 poll, but
yeah,
is it the one that I think it's going to be?
I don't want to say because they could probably deduce from
that
what that means then.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After Asobi, I already decided to watch Kaguya Season 2, but after that, I'm split between Haikyuu, Konosuba, or Beastars. If you had to recommend one, which would it be?
Those are 3 very different shows.
So, Miguel, this is actually a very easy one for me. It's a very easy one for me. The reason why I'm going to recommend it in this order specifically is because of the size of the shows. So I'm going to recommend you watch Beastars first, because it is only 1 cour.
I was going to say that too.
Watch it, and I would say because it's 1 cour, you're only going to need 1 episode before you're like pretty much like knowing of whether or not you're into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's not your thing, go all the way to the other end of the spectrum with Konosuba and just watch the insanity of it. And then you don't actually need to watch it all concurrently in order to get the best experience. In some ways, you can watch patches of Konosuba
and then take a break and come back later and watch more. Yeah.
So that's what I would do. Is I would watch like all of Beastars, like maybe about 6 episodes of Konosuba.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like a good breadth of the experience there, and then start Haikyuu.
And also,
so you can get that one going at least, because that's a lot of anime.
I don't know, Miguel, if you're a sub versus dub person, right?
Yeah.
But with Konosuba specifically,
yes,
both sub and dub are amazing.
Phenomenal.
I might get some people that try to execute me because I'm recommending something that is not definitively watch the sub first. But yeah, both are incredible.
Yes. Fun fact, Beastars mangaka is also the daughter of Baki the Grappler's mangaka.
I heard about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of cool. Nice. You're a sub person? There you go. Cool, cool.
All right.
The Forgotten Failure, One Punch Man Season 2. Oof. Oof. The funny thing is that I'm sure that eventually I'll watch One Punch Man Season 2, and I'll be like, it's not bad. It's just not good.
One Punch Man season 2. It's really not fair because on the one hand, One Punch Man season 1, which was unbelievably amazing, then you have One Punch Man season 2. And right on the other side of the fence, you have Mob Psycho season 1, which was amazing. And then you have Mob Psycho season 2, which
I'm just glad I invested in the right one.
Same.
I'll say. I think One Punch Man season 1 was revolutionary, not for just what it was as a product, but actually what it did for anime in the mainstream.
Yep.
There are so many people I know who watched One Punch Man as their first anime. Like, many people.
Oh, yeah.
And they quickly got into anime afterwards. Because I feel like One Punch Man is basically like, this is anime. Like, this is anime.
Right.
Like, you are not going to be, like, shocked when you go and watch other anime after watching One Punch Man season 1.
Other than maybe, the visuals aren't as mind-blowingly, orgasmically awesome as in One Punch Man season 1?
GLaDOS saying, I am one of those people.
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go.
Case in point. So, Bill Burr talked about One Punch Man. That got a few of my friends onto it. There you go. Like, your random comedian is talking about it. But Mob Psycho as a show, I think, I knew in season 1, I was like, yeah, this is not as good of a season as One Punch Man, but I was like, no, this is the anime that, like, I am going to be so excited when we get more of it. It's so good. It's so good.
Of moments that, like, in stories, whether anime or otherwise, that made me just be like, I need to fist pump right now so hard. Like so hard, my body cannot physically fist pump hard enough.
Yeah. I feel
Reagan
that.
1,000% at the end of season 1. Oh, man, that was one of them.
That was really good. Yeah, both are great, but Mob Psycho over One Punch Man, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. Your 49-year-old math teacher watched One Punch Man. Yeah, exactly. One Punch Man turned me into from a casual anime fan to a full-blown otaku. Exactly. There's a very important anime of the modern, like, last 5 years. Because what was One Punch Man?
2014, I think.
I'll look it up real quick. That seems too. No, I used to say 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, when was it? One Punch Man season 1 was
2015. Okay.
Yeah, 2015. Because 2016 was
Mob Psycho.
Well, and Konosuba season 1.
Oh, right. Yeah. So 2015. Okay. So you're pretty close. Yeah. Trying to get my brother to watch Mob Psycho 100. Yeah, Mob Psycho 100 is a show that I feel like is not as easy to get people into as One Punch Man.
It's like, here's the way to maybe think about it, though. If you're able to get people into Mob Psycho 100 and they're able to get past the art style, then maybe that means that even though it's still a big leap to go from this to that, you might be, and different shows completely, you might be able to get them to watch Ping Pong the Animation.
Oh, okay.
Because Ping Pong the Animation is another one where it's a huge hurdle to get people to watch it because of the art style.
Yeah, I feel like
it's a really good show.
I feel like Mob Psycho is funny, so you can actually overcome a lot of the stuff there with that.
And superpowers.
Ping Pong the Animation is not as funny.
Oh, definitely.
Unfortunately, not. So there's that as well.
What, hamburger didn't just make you roll with laughter?
No, I think there was quite a few comedic moments, but Ping Pong is more of a character drama, so yeah, it's hard there. Let's see. Food Wars is also a great starter for people just getting into anime. It was funny, actually. It was on another Discord, and one of the people in there was very much like, okay, I've got some anime I'm looking forward to getting into. Food Wars is one of my favorite things. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just kind of lurking. And then they're like, so I see there's sexy gambling anime, Kakiguri. And they're like, and there's sexy furry anime. And I'm like, wait, you talking about Beastars? And I just was like, hold up a minute. You liked Food Wars for, like, I'm guessing the overdramatic presentation with regards to certain things. But this guy's an actor. So I'm like, you need to watch Beastars, my man. You will.
Actor for one. Yeah,
you will be moved by Beastars. I haven't even gotten past much of the show at this point.
It's so important that they watch it that you gloss over the fact that they called it the.
Yep. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just
it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Exactly. Oh. Oh man. I think we're gonna be wrapping things up right about now. But yeah. Yeah. Guys, anime is special and like we should be giving as much opportunity to celebrate it as possible. It's really, really wonderful that we get to have so many good anime. And yet I think what's also kind of apropos with this is that even in this individual moment where we're dealing with a lot of shit right now, just in real life, there is less anime coming out right now.
Yeah.
Like, just think about that. There's a lot less anime coming out right now than there was, a few seasons ago. But like, we're still getting really good stuff, and this is in like one of the worst years of many of our lives. So,
Right.
like, yeah, anime's pretty good.
It really is.
And just imagine if you were in that place where you thought anime was a bunch of cringy, kind of slightly creepy, like stuff going on.
Ultra violence and tentacle porn. There's no
in
else.
between. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe celebrate what we have, and
Yep.
a lot more people will be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check that out.
And support the anime so that way, more things can be made and whatnot, and so that hopefully things like animators
Don't buy $400
wages.
Blu-rays though, please. Just don't.
Yeah.
There's other ways, but anyway,
Exactly.
yeah.
$400 figures.
Wait, what? Someone got the Dub Legoshi actor to read a furry copy pasta. He couldn't make it, and it was hilarious. Oh my god!
I want to see that, but I also
Wow.
feel like I want to rewatch Beastars in the dub
Hmm.
to be able to properly appreciate it.
The animation for God of High School is any indication, Attack on Titan Season 4 is in good hands. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Oh, yeah. Haikyuu ended, the manga. That's right. Got to go back to crying about Haikyuu. I have survived 2020 so far thanks to this wonderful series. Oh, yes. I'm glad for you. That's awesome.
And you can always rewatch it 8 more times.
That's true. That's true. But y'all, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. If you want to check out our other streams, leave a follow. We stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we are doing One Piece. One Piece manga read-throughs. We do dramatic voices and have a lot of fun with it.
It's
and we're
insane.
on volume 52? Volume 51?
I believe 52.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah. And that's happening then. On Thursday, Jacob has his gaming stream.
Which I'm doing Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the second Ori game. And I got past the prologue part of the story.
Yay.
And it just about killed me.
Oh. Sadness imprisoning him.
Yep.
All that is
No.
absolute tears.
I didn't realize that it was one of those things where it's like, this is just going to be a real sad prologue so that you have motivation for the rest of the story. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And then on Fridays, there's my gaming stream where I have just started Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I believe I've died 44 times thus far. Although I did the tutorial, having never played a Souls game, with only one death. And that was due to, I think, falling damage, because I was having some issues with the controls.
I see.
Yes. But yeah, be sure to check that out as well. And yeah, if you want a magnet next to your name, like all the other people on here, I hear Bezos likes to give money away through this thing called Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
So if you got Twitch Prime
subscription zone.
and you want to pass that along, hit us up. You get access to our private Discord if you're a sub as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yes.
But yeah.
And also, if you need more entertainment during this crazy time that we are in now, yes, thank you, Warforged Games, !BL in chat for the link to Amazon where you can purchase my sci-fi novel, Battle Lines. It's really awesome. You should definitely check it out.
All right, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'd beaten the first boss of the first area and apparently unlocked the shortcut. Thanks, Cychronia.
The shortcut. Interesting. Yeah. So the bet though of the under 100 deaths for Ori, it's not going super great so far. I think I'm at like 15 or 20 or so. The actual counter in the game is interesting. It has different ways of counting the deaths and things like that. So I'm not sure. I might have to go back and like, figure out exactly how many it is. But
yeah, I won't necessarily play all the Dark Souls games in a row, because I'm going to be playing Cyberpunk 2077 when that comes out, because that game hits me harder than the ending of Jacob's book, where Soul...
Oh, yeah, that ending, man.